We call the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting for Tuesday, January the 14th to order. Tonight, we have opening prayer led by Pastor Johnny Bird of Legacy Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you please stand with me if you're able and remain standing for the prayer.
Father, thank you. Thank you for the awesome opportunity to get to be in a room like this and call on your name as we look forward to what the decisions that these men and women make tonight. Lord, I pray that your Holy Spirit would guide them in every decision, God, in our conversation tonight. God, that you would be glorified in everything that happens in our city. God, thank you for keeping our citizens safe through this last little batch of winter weather. God, thank you for all the departments that took care of everything so the roads were safe to travel. And Lord, may we hear your voice tonight and know what we're supposed to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you read the future meetings into the record, please?
Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, January 16th at 6 p.m. Board of Zoning Appeals, January 16th at 6:30 p.m. Bartlett Performing Arts and Council Advisory Board, January 21st at 6 p.m. Bartlett Library Advisory Board, January 23rd at 6 p.m. Historic Preservation Commission, January 27th at 6:30 p.m. Special Event Ad Hoc Committee, January 27th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This time we will recognize any scouts in the room if we have any. And looking at the lack of hair and the color of the hair, I don't think we have any scouts in the audience tonight. So we will move to the official business of the day. The first official business of the day is the approval of the minutes. Madam Clerk, will you read that into the record, please?
Minutes of the December 10th, 2024 Board of Mayor and Aldermen regular meeting.
Should have received in your packet those minutes. If there's no omissions, corrections, or errors, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Move we approve.
Properly motioned by Alderman Jack Young. Is there a second? Second by Alderman David Reeves. Madam Clerk, will you please put the roll and the minutes for December the 10th passes. Tonight we next item of business is consent agenda. We have 7 items on there. Any member of the board may remove any item for a separate discussion. Is any of the board like to remove any single item for the separate discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, will you read the 7 items into the record, please?
Item 1, Special Event Permit for MRTC Winter Crossroad Country Series 8K. Item 2, Purchase of Chevrolet Tahoe Police Sport Utility Vehicle. Item 3, Purchase SWAT Team Body Armor. Item 4, Purchase of Camera Equipment for Police Vehicles. Item 5, Minimum Bond Subdivision Contract for Walker Farms Phase 3. Item 6, Proposal for Design for the Water Treatment Plants 1 through 4 Improvement Design Project. Item 7, Treasurer's Report for November 2024.
Second.
Been properly motioned by Alderman David Reeves and seconded by Alderman Quinn.
Yes.
So there's no discussion, so Madam Clerk. Thank you. That also gets approved unanimous. Under new business, Madam Clerk, you read item number 1.
Appoint Vice Mayor.
One of the privileges of being mayor is by charter that I get to appoint the Vice Mayor, and I submit Jack Young's name simply as informational purposes. I'd remind everyone that the board does get to vote on the register, and that is a 4-year appointment and 2 years left on it. So tonight, I publicly submit Alderman Jack Young to be Vice Mayor. So, Madam Clerk, will you read item number 2 into the record?
Set public hearing for February 11th, 2024 for Resolution 0-25, a resolution approving a special use permit to allow a church use to be located at the east side of Broadway Road on parcel B014900261, just north of the Ellendale 5-way intersection within the RE Residential Estate Zoning District.
Move we set the public hearing for February 11th.
Thank you, Alderman Reeves.
Second.
Been properly motioned, properly second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, and we did include the public hearing being set for February the 11th in that. Madam Clerk, Present the roll, please. Item number 2, Resolution 01-25 passes. So, Madam Clerk, please read item number 3.
Set a public hearing for February 11th, 2025 for Resolution 02-25, a resolution approving a special use permit to allow a planned residential development to be located at the southeast corner of Yale Road at Bartlett Boulevard within the RS10 single-family residential zoning district.
Ms. Kim Taylor, I'd like for you to come to the podium at this time, Director for our Planning and Economic Development. Give an explanation for the city.
This is a request for an 8-lot single-family residential plan development on 3.66 acres of land within the RS10 residential single-family zoning district that requires a minimum 10,000 square foot lot per residential lot. All lots will exceed this requirement, with lot sizes ranging from 13,500 square feet to 13,900 square feet. However, the lot widths and setbacks will be smaller than what is typically required, which is why this is coming to you as a planned development. There will be one common access driveway to the rear of all the lots. This application went before the Planning Commission on November 4th, 2024, and then it went to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a land size variance, which was granted, and therefore it comes before you with a favorable recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Again, a motion would please include the setting the public hearing for February the 11th.
Move we approve and set a public hearing for February 11th, 2025.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Jack Young and seconded by Alderman David Reeves. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll call. Item passes unanimous for Resolution 02-25. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 4 into the record, please?
Resolution 03-25, a resolution accepting a donation by Cynthia Price of tract of real property approximately 50 feet wide located at 0 Cedar Road, labeled as parcel ID B015700148C.
I'd ask CAO Mr. Steve Sones to give an explanation.
Yeah, so the parcel at 0 Cedar Road includes a footbridge and an asphalt walking trail that the city has maintained for many years. Acquiring this property will enable the city not only to service the bridge without obtaining recurring consent from the owner, but also allow the public to access the bridge, which provides them direct route to Ellendale Park without infringing on private property. In short, obtaining this approximately 50-foot wide strip will not only enhance Public Works crews' maintenance efforts, but also improve public park access.
Properly motion, second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, present the roll. So the resolution 03-25 passes unanimous, and we'd just like to say, Ms. Price, we do thank you for that donation. Madam Clerk, number 5.
Bid for replacement of 4 sewer pump stations.
At this time, I think Mr. Horn is sick, so Ms. Campbell, would you like to come to the microphone and give an explanation? This is some ARPA money, and she will fill you in on the blanks.
All right, this project is to replace 4 sewer pump stations that are 25 plus years old and have reached their end of life. In 2022, the engineering department applied for Federal American Rescue Plan Act, that's the ARPA funding, that was distributed through TDEC, and we acquired the following funding. So for federal funding through TDEC from ARPA, we have $3,412,917, which required a City of Bartlett 35% match of $1,194,520.95, which gives us total funding of $4,607,437.95. So TDEC gave confirmation for the City of Bartlett to utilize these funds for this project, and then we passed Resolution 3322 to show the confirmation that we would utilize these funds for design and construction of the project. So on November 14th, 2024, the city received 4 bids for the construction of this project, and we recommend awarding that to Chris Hill Construction because they were the lowest, most responsive and responsible vendor. So we recommend awarding that amount of $3,752,085, and there are funds available in account 312.48312.780.808.
I hope you got that, Aaron. It's safe to say that in that bid, we also, in case of power outages, we've been having to take a portable generator out there to each one of those pump stations, and this bid does include a pad mount generator for all 4.
And it's just generally updating them because they're out of date and worn out.
So good. I believe we had a motion. Do we got a motion in a second?
I'll second if it is.
All right. We motion second. Any discussion?
Yeah, if you could, Mr. Mayor. Could you email a picture of that? I'd like to see what
There should be a map in the attached.
I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. I'm not saying it's not in here. I'm just saying I couldn't find it. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just another note too, which is very doubtful, but any parts that can be salvaged out of that replacement, we'll put it in inventory. So anyway.
Sounds good.
So Madam Clerk, was there any more discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, we present the roll. And it also it's approved unanimous. So now we move to open discussion. Open it up to the board first. I'd like to, if it's all right, I'd like to make a few comments that I received numerous emails over the weekend, and I'm very proud of. Where's Matt? Yeah, he's back here. I just want to say what a good job that our Public Works Department did. Got good comments on how well, and don't leave out the parks either. Just passed me the note. I called up for Jimbo and Paul. What a good job y'all did. So we want to thank y'all. A lot of people don't realize how many hours and how much work goes into that, but we had some pre-meetings and had a good game plan, and very happy with y'all being successful in keeping the roads clear. So I want to say an attaboy for that. One other item, it's been through the holidays. We've been in contact with Mr. Wilder at the Quail Ridge, and we're trying to work out a date and a time where we can convene again to kind of see which direction, if he knows which direction he's trying to head with the Quail Ridge Golf Course. So I just want to kind of keep you updated on that. We have been actively trying to stay in touch so that we can understand where he's headed. So as soon as we get some more information on it, I'll let you know. For those folks that live in the Richland Valley subdivision, we should have started this week with a contractor trying to complete a lot of those miscellaneous items on a subdivision that got taken over by the bank. So we're very happy to say that we've been negotiating for 6 or 8 months trying to get something going there. So you should see the punch list that was really as low as 2012 or 14, I think sounds right, that we're going to get those items addressed and hopefully be looking for those residents in there to be able to start to have some the talks about a homeowners association. So there should be some activity in your subdivision, weather permitting here, coming up here, particularly around cleaning out a lot of those basins and cleaning up a lot of those items up. So did the board have anything they would like to say?
Mr. Mayor, quick question.
Yes,
if
sir.
You could. The budget process this year, I've got quite a bit of spring travel coming up with work, so I'm just trying to figure out, can we maybe get a calendar of the way we're going to handle budget this year? That way I can just make sure that I'm here for the
good
right votes.
We'll make sure you get that. We have backed it up with the directors a little bit, so it's going to be a fun times this year. So any director have anything they wish to say? Michael. I bet you have something to say about the upcoming season there, right?
About the second half of the season.
Second half, okay.
Yeah. Hey, Esquire, can you hold on to this?
Don't hit him with it, Ed.
I just thought it would look good with you, And great. Well, thank you for the time. When I was here 4 months ago, I was telling you about the first half of our season in the fall. I want to tell you a brief story first. About 2 weeks ago, I was feeling pitiful for myself. No, I just decided I wanted to go out and eat. And when I walked in, I was looking for a place to sit, and this fella came up to me and he says, "Hey, aren't you the director of that theater?" And I go, "Well, if it's in Bartlett, probably so, you know." And he said, "Well, where do you live?" And he said, "We live in Bartlett." He said, "Well, we'd never been to a show until about 4 years ago, and there was some artist that we really wanted to go to. And we went to it and we loved it. The next year we saw 3 shows. And the next year we saw 4 shows. And then this year we became a subscriber. And we dropped our subscription to an unnamed downtown theater. So that's kind of something for a little BPAC. And they're going to put the artists up there. Our first artist for this winter spring, is Cat Kid Comic Club. Well, we were supposed to have 2 arts and education performances on Friday and a public show on Saturday. Well, what do you think happened to that? And so the public show did totally get toasted. But with the artists being able to stay on, and with the help of Paul cleaning my lot, and everybody joining me at 6:45 in the morning on Monday, we entertained and educated 500 Bartlett school students with Cat Kid Comic Club just yesterday. On the 25th of this month, we have Purple Experience. It's basically a Prince tribute. It stars a fellow by the name of Marshall Charloff. He's been doing it since 2011. He's the only musician that the Prince family actually approved to sing Prince's materials. So that speaks very highly of him. And then also, when Prince started his first band up in Minneapolis, it was around, he was around 16, Prince. And Marshall was around 14. And Marshall was the bass player in Prince's first band. So that's kind of cool that there's that connection. But if you like Prince and his songs, this guy doesn't ever say he's Prince. He looks like him. You close your eyes, he sounds like him. The 7:30 show is already sold out. We've added a 2 p.m. matinee. There are tickets left to that, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Then on January 31st and February 1st, we have Professor Wow's Outer Space Adventures. On the Friday, we also are doing arts and education performance where Bartlett School students will be bused to the theater. And right now, Brad Faust, who's in charge of that program with the schools, we already have between 650 and 700 students signed up to come and learn about outer space and be entertained with that show. He's excellent. And then on Saturday, the 1st of February, he'll do a public show for families to come to. We've got Sandy Petty coming on the 8th of February. She's a really huge, not in size, in name, but she a contemporary Christian singer. And, you know, the country has the CMAs and the pop music has the Grammys. Well, for Christian music, it's the Doves. She's worn 140. And at any rate, she'll be there on the 8th. And I'm happy and I'm sad that show's already sold out. And then on the 15th, we have Evil Woman, the American ELO, which stands for the Electric Light Orchestra. Well, the Electric Light Orchestra years ago was the first rock and roll band to hook up with classical musicians. So there are 5 rock and rollers and 5 classical musicians: violin, viola, cello, bass, and that makes up their sound. They are really, really exceptional. The 7:30 show is sold out. We added a second show, and I know it will sell out, but there are tickets left to the 2 o'clock show for that. And they have some of their songs, you could look it up, are Evil Woman, Mr. Blue Sky, Don't Bring Me Down. Did you ever watch any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Did you watch the third one, the last one?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, at any rate, in the opening of that movie, in all their movies, they play popular music all the way through the music, the old popular music, right? Well, they open it up with the 8-minute Mr. Blue Sky, so that's kind of cool. The first weekend in March, we have Children of Eden, which is a musical. It's our youth theater production that stars youth from Greater Bartlett. It's professionally directed. It's written by Stephen Schwartz. He's the guy who also wrote probably the biggest musical that's ever been on Broadway, Wicked. So it's going to be a great show. Then later in the month, we have the Bartlett Community Concert Band, who are wonderful with their spring concert. And every time I see them, they remind me, because actually the first actual performance in the theater ticketed was Art Garfunkel of Simon and Garfunkel on September the 19th of 1999. There we go. And at any rate, and what was interesting about that was he was at BPAC, and across town, Simon, as in Simon and Garfunkel, he was playing in another theater. So on the September the 19th, 1999, Simon and Garfunkel were in Memphis, but in separate theaters. But they always remind me that they were really the first group that ever performed in BPAC before there were even seats in there. So they're very good. Then in early April, we have Larry Gatlin. Larry Gatlin started out as a songwriter. He moved from Nashville to L.A., and he was kind of flat broke. But Dottie West, who used to be, for some of us more mature people, you might know her, was a popular country singer. And she saw him sing out there, and she goes, what are you doing out here? He goes, well, I'm trying to, I want to do country music writing and everything. She goes, well, son, you need to be in Nashville. And he goes, I don't have any money, I'm broke. And she bought him a plane ticket to go to Nashville, and the rest is history. He ended up writing songs for like Johnny Cash and Chris Christopherson and a whole bunch of other people, including his own, like All the Gold in California. And then he was really big with his brothers, the Gatlin brothers. So he's going to be there on that day. What is that? April the 4th. Thank you. And then the next weekend, we have Henry Cho on a Friday and Saturday night. Henry Cho is a comedian, very popular comedian. His story is his mom and dad were born in Korea. He was born in the United States. When he grew up, he moved out to California, did a lot of stand-up, was in some movies like McHale's Navies. And then when he met his wife and they wanted to have kids, he wanted to raise his kids in Tennessee, close to where he was. So he moved back to Tennessee. He lives outside of Nashville now. But he's doing so great. He performs stand-up all around the country, 2 or 3 nights a week. You'll hear him on some of the Service, whatever the Service Comedy Channel is. Last January, about a year ago, he was inducted into the Grand Ole Opry. As a comedian, first of all, and they hadn't had one since 1973, and he was the first Asian American to ever be inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, because his humor is very countrified. That's kind of what is funny about it. He'll come out, they'll introduce him, he'll come out, and they think he's going to have some Asian dialect, and he goes, howdy, y'all, and people are like, what is up with that? But he's very good, and also he's a clean comedian, and by that I mean he takes a bath before every performance. And but remember, about 10-20 years ago, all the comedians were like, let's see how many F-bombs we can drop in the show tonight. He doesn't say any F-bombs or GD bombs or anything. And then in May and June we have 2 Music by the Lake performances, and then in June and July we have 6 youth theater camps, which are professionally directed, and the kids start on a Monday rehearsals, and on Friday they do a performance, and they learn a lot about theater, and it gives them a lot of confidence, even if they're not going to do theater, and they learn about teamwork, and their moms and dads and everybody can come and see them. But I can't believe it. This December I started my 9th year as the director of BPAC, and I'm very happy and proud to be here. So thank you for your time. Come and see a show. Have a great year, guys. Thank you. Did
Michael.
you like that? Oh, good. Okay. Thank
For
you,
those that didn't catch enough of what he said and want more, he'll hang around to answer your questions.
Mayor. Okay.
Is there any other director have anything they wish to share? Seeing no one come forward, I saw Mr. Pierce from the chamber. Did you have something you want to say? You're good? Okay. So Michael answered the questions? Yeah. Okay. All right. If a citizen completed the open discussion form prior to the start of the meeting, you may come forward and state your name and address for the record. You'll have up to 3 minutes, at which time a buzzer will sound, and you must sit down. So anyone fished out filled out an application, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Are you Mr. Autry?
Yes, ma'am. Chris Autry, 4145 Blackheath Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And you touched on it briefly earlier about the Quail Ridge Golf Course. Everybody's curious. It doesn't seem like, just from hearing what you did say, that the city really has any plans or could even take over the area. But is there anything that can be done with the zoning to kind of control or guide the square footage of houses that are built in the area?
So the first meeting we said, that he may have missed, that the city has been in contact with him numerous times. I had him in my office and asked if there's anything the city could do. If we could do a public-private partnership, if we could look at anything, and he answered every question I had, no, no, no. It's my property. I hadn't decided what I wanted to do. I just closed the property, and I need a little bit of time to find out exactly what I want to do. Since that time, I have been in contact with him probably 2 or 3 times, trying to give an update. Holidays is coming up. Said, Dave, I really don't have any plans. So he's the owner. We're waiting to see what he's wanting to do and see what's going from that. We have tried to put a couple of people that were golf course people back in touch with him. So we're leaving the opportunity open, hoping that maybe he may want to listen to see what he wants to come to us and say before we do nothing else. Right. He has the option to try to tell us what he wants to do with the property that he owns.
But as far as the zoning that's in place of what he's able to do now, I mean, what can be built there? I mean, residential only,
yes,
commercial?
Say, Kim, can I ask you to answer that question for the young man? Mm-hmm. Mr. Archer, you can have a seat. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That's really it. Just
okay, all right. All right.
So currently the zoning in place that directly abuts that area is townhome zoning. And what's built there are single-family homes. They are considered townhome based on the zoning and the sizes of the lot. So you can have detached townhomes that actually look like single-family homes. And that's what's there now. That's what they could, well, actually all the building has taken place in those areas, but you also have some RS10 residential single-family. So currently that's what you can get right now. Unless the zoning is changed.
Mr. Taylor, could you clear that part up for him about, is there any room for any townhouses to be built there?
There's no more zoning left for townhomes to be built.
Okay, did you get that, Mr. Autry? Yeah, apartments. Yeah, apartments, okay. So, so that current residential zoning is zoned?
Townhomes and single family.
Single family, okay, yeah. Thank you.
No, HUD, that is not really permitted that we can dictate as a city the size of homes that can go in an area. Now, a developer on his own can agree to a certain minimum square footage for a home in a subdivision that gets built or approved by the city. The city will entertain a discussion about that, but again, the city cannot force any developer to give us a dictated size minimum square foot home. That's the law.
Okay. Did I answer your question, Mr. Autry? All right. Anyone else?
Dennis Lauter.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dennis. We hope that here real soon we can find out exactly what his plans are. And so did we have anybody else?
No.
No one. So, seeing no one else coming forward to be recognized at this time, we will entertain a motion to conclude the January the 14th meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Been properly motioned and second. Meeting adjourned.